I'm still here at Eurobike, and the quest to find more cool bike tech continues on. Now, if you've seen our previous videos, fear not, because there's loads more cool stuff to see. Right, let's find it. Aerodynamic road bikes seem to be getting more and more extreme. This one is from a brand called Java, and it's called the Vittoria. A new model, I thought, but apparently this has been around for a number of years now. The thing that first caught my eye was the fact I thought, hold on, this doesn't have a seat tube, but it does. If you look carefully, you've got what appears to be like a carbon fiber mudguard shape filling in the void from where the seat tube would effectively stop and then down to the bottom bracket area. Now, this is said to be structural as well, helping to make the frame as strong as possible, but I really like the way it sort of fits in really slick and neat, not only providing strength to the frame, but also, by the shape of it, you would assume helping with aerodynamics too, because they've gone all out on this bike. As you can see, we've got a disc wheel in the back, super deep wheel at the front. And then if you look at the handlebars, well, that's even more extreme as well. We've got really like a hybrid between a time trial setup and a road bike setup, because the way that the one-piece handlebar and stem is molded is pretty mind-blowing and means you can ride this bike in a kind of time trial body position. Okay, Enve have really been making some boss paint jobs lately, and this one, I'm going to say, is pretty off the charts. It's the Enve Mog, which is their gravel bike, and I've not seen anything like it before. It's like it's been splattered with pink paint, as if it's mud that's been flying up off the tyres. Super cool seeing the way that it all transforms from the front to the back of all of the different tube sections, and I'm all for it. More cool paint jobs like this, if you ask me. Okay, Cinelli Pressure 2, their Aero road bike. Love the look of this thing. Colours, really like it too. Also fitted with the latest Campagnolo Super Record, which we're starting to see more and more dotted around on bikes around the show. Now, a few little different things here, which I think are super slick and neat. I like the fact that we've got completely sealed through axle ends, and the shaping of the tubes and the attention to little details, like you've got the pink fade at the back and the tiny little pink tucks behind the fork. There's a few cool bikes here on the Cinelli stand, one of them being the Specialissima Gravel, which is a sort of update and revision to their gravel bike range, and some updates in terms of some of the standards. So it's now UDH compatible, it's got wider tyre clearance, and some little tweaks and revisions to the steel tubing and design of the frame. And I think I'm a big fan of using steel as a material for gravel bikes. So this is the new Cinturato EVO TLR from Pirelli. Now, it launched a few weeks back, and it's really interesting here to see this tyre directly next to the motorbike tyre next to me, which is what inspired the tread pattern here. Now, Pirelli say they're working hard to bring the crazy large sizes to market, because this tyre is said to go all the way up to a 55mm in width, which for this kind of tyre is pretty much unheard of in the bike industry at the moment. So I cannot wait to try to see when they release that and get my hands on it. But for comparison, it is kind of cool to see not only the size difference between motorbike tyres, but how they've copied across that tread pattern. I like it. How cool is this? Now, I'm not normally a fan of colours on bike helmets, but the way that this one is done kind of is doing it for me, you know. It's from Lazer, and this one uses their Kineticore technology, which is inside and integrated into the EPS foam liner. But then also on the side, we've got their crazy looking time trial helmet with that like wraparound visor. This one is used by the Picnic Post and L team, and let's be honest, like, time trial helmets serve a really good purpose. Never going to be quite as cool as a road helmet though, is it? This is a very cool looking e-gravel bike. It's from a brand called EBI. The paint is the first thing that stands out to me, but what's really neat is the fact that the motor and battery is all encased in the down tube, keeping everything super neat and tidy. Now, I'm told that this is like a final kind of prototype version of the bike, and this unique frame design is here to try to improve compliance and comfort on the back of the bike with this Y shape, allowing the frame and carbon to have a little bit of extra give to help make you as comfortable as possible. This actual paint design is named Zurich, and that was because that was what the designer took inspiration from. And there's also a London and Edinburgh version, I believe. Now, at the moment, it's currently not actually available, but they say it should be very soon. You've got clearance around a 42mm tyre, and this one is actually built up with an interesting choice of components. You've got SRAM Red and then some Campagnolo Hyperon Ultra wheels, which look absolutely slick. I can't say I've ever seen a bar like this before, but I think I quite like it. Let's talk gravel bikes next. This is the superior XR 9.5 GRA. It's their gravel bike, and not only does it look cool, it's also kitted out with the latest SRAM rival. And this is actually the first time I've seen the Groupset. First thing that stands out to me is not only does the rear derailleur look super cool, the cranks are real crazy with this little cutout section here and an angled profile machined into it as well. Levers, super slick, got the same sort of shape as what's on SRAM Red. And the colours of this bike really do scream gravel at me. I like the shaping of the tubes, and it just is a pretty slick looking bike. Superior bikes actually are renowned in my mind for providing bikes which look cool and also at affordable price points. To my side, there's also a really slick looking aluminium bike with polished silver sections on. Love that. Groupset Tech now. This is said to be the world's first 1x14 speed Groupset. It's from a brand called Sentyeh, and it's called the ECS. Now this here is the Groupset, which at the moment is said to be in its prototype final development phases, but it's super cool here. So you've got these neat little levers, hydraulic disc brake ready, you've got calipers all ready to go, nicely machined out cutaway sections here, and the derailleur is fitted with speedy little ceramic bearings. And I like the way that it appears to be kind of like, reminds me of some of the gravel Groupsets that we've got about at the moment. You've got a removable battery here. This one here doesn't quite fit in the derailleur yet because it's still at the early development stages, but we've got a USB connector on the back here to make charging super easy for everybody. And then working to make it 1x14 speed, we've got a pretty crazy cassette. This one is a 10 all the way through to a 45 tooth. Obviously, being 14 speed, you've got 14 different sprockets on here. Now, in order to fit that onto the Shimano HG freehub body, which this is designed to work with, you've got to have very narrow spacing. So combined with the cassette with 14 teeth, well, there's a chain, which is here, with a special black coating on it, which is even narrower again. Now, I didn't think I would ever see 14 speed by 1x, but here it is, and it's going to be interesting to see if this makes it into the international market and what some of the big name brands will do with the future development of their products as well. So many cool gadgets and innovation at Topeak, far too many to show you, but I picked out 3 cool little things which I think are really neat. So here we've got a little pick set. I use the picks loads at home to get little debris out of your tyres, help with internal cable routing, stuff like that. But I've got lots of different separate ones. The cool thing here is that the pick heads are easily removable and switched out for a different shape. And then inside the handle, you can store all of the different ones, keeping everything neat and tidy. And then over here on my other side, we've got the solo tyre lever. Now this, I think, is designed to be a really robust tyre lever, helping people get even the most stubborn tubeless tyres easily off and then back onto their wheel rims. Now, if you look closely here, the different coloured section is because the material is made out of Teflon on the grey areas to help it glide easily across your carbon fibre rims and help minimise damage. Then also in the end, you've got a little bits holder where you've got a 5 and 6mm hex key to enable you to easily remove the wheel from your bike. And then finally, this has to be perhaps the neatest, smallest little multi-tool that I have ever seen. It's got all of your essentials packed in here, neat and tidy. It's called the Nano 11, but one of the cool things is to the side, you've got a little flat-headed screwdriver next to the 5mm, and then when you pair those up, because of the shape of the flathead screwdriver, you've actually got an 8mm Allen key as well. So this is pretty neat and tidy, and it can all be held in this neat little holder, which can go underneath your bottle cage with an easy access cover and a magnet to hold the tool holder in place. This is a saddle I first spoke about on the tech show a little while back, and it's actually really cool to get my hands on it. It's the Predator 01 TT made by Prologo. Now I've got one off of a bike here, but there's also one fitted to the X-Lab, the bike of the Astana team. Now if you flip this saddle over, it's really interesting to see its carbon fibre construction. We've got a two-piece design. The little section at the front is bolted in to hold what are, I can describe as the rails, but they're like no other rails I've ever seen before. It's a really unique construction. And the idea here, I think, is this back section is trying to sort of improve and smooth airflow from the back of the rider as much as possible while still complying to those UCI regulations. It's got this really unique sort of little channel system to allow air to flow through from underneath the saddle and exit out the back. Sort of like a, I don't think I want to say what it might be as. So there's a lot of chat at the moment about people moving to tiny cranks, and I think it's starting to get out of hand in the racing world. But here on the Giant and Live stand, We've got the smallest cranks I've ever seen, 130 millimeters, not because they're fitted to an adult's bike, but because they're fitted to this new range of children's bikes called Seek. Now, the idea here is to have components and accessories really optimized for the smaller bikes rather than fitting components designed for adults onto kids' bikes. Now, the range is looking absolutely amazing, and I've got to say, if I was a kid and I had a bike like this, I'd be absolutely blown away. But the paint job and the finishing is really, really cool. But the main thing is that we're trying to give bikes that are more suitable for children rather than just giving them adults components and hoping for the best. Let's talk about helmet safety here, and this is a new product by Mips. Now, if you're not familiar with the brand, it's technology which is used in lots of different bike helmets, and it's a rotational system that provides about 10 to 15 millimeters of movement of rotational impact protection. Now, this new technology that they've made is looking at trying to improve cooling as well as offering the safety benefit. And as such, we've got a new fabric material, a new padding, which is all incorporated into one. Now, on the back edge, you've got this really slidey surface, which is also perforated to help with cooling. And then you've got the removable foam sections. Now, the big changes here are this section at the front, which has got this unique design and channel to help channel sweat away from your forehead round to the sides rather than have it running down the front of your face. These can be easily removed using little Velcro straps, easily washed and cleaned and replaced whenever necessary. And it's a real sort of minimalist way to try and get this technology incorporated into lots of different helmets. Let's talk about Shimano Qs now. Now, it's known for being their more affordable and sort of like urban do-it-all bike range, but the tech here is really mind-blowing. Now, I talked about this a little while back on the tech show, and it's the rear hub, which means that your electronic Q's rear derailleur will never, ever run out of battery. The reason for that is because, well, when you ride your bike, you're generating the power that it uses. Now, one thing that I was confused and didn't really understand until I've actually seen this is how the cable that goes into the derailleur actually exits from the hub. And you can see here on this end cap, there's a small little section which is cut out, and you've got this really, really thin cable which goes into the rear derailleur. Not only is it generating the power to make the rear derailleur operate, there's also some crazy tech inside here which is monitoring your sort of speed and the way that you're pedaling, and then can automatically control the shifting on the rear derailleur. And this tech is called Q Auto. I tell you what, I would love to build a bike up with this Groupset and really get to try out this myself. Cargo bike tech next. This is the Carry 2 from Reese & Mueller, an urban brand which has got loads of sort of city, commuting and cargo bikes. The reason I thought this was actually pretty cool is because you've got, well, the Bosch Performance Line CX motor and the ability to have two small little kids in the front. Great for getting your kids to sort of school, commuting. You can even put your shopping in the front. But the thing that I thought was cool was the fact that you've got this additional like cover and fairing which can be removed pretty easily should you be commuting in bad weather, which is something that we always have in the UK. However, let's face it, the UCI aren't going to be too happy with that fairing on the front because fairings are banned. Crazy anodized hubs here. I don't recognize the brand, but it's so cool to see all the different designs that they've got. So to get this like splatter anodized effect, I'm assuming is actually quite an annoying and fiddly process to do. But nonetheless, they've got a few different examples here showcasing the technology and what they can kind of achieve. So we've got like lighter color silver finishes with splashes of color. We've got darker colors. And also, we know where this is going. My favorite, oil slick hubs. Let's talk power meters now. I've managed to get my hands on some of the latest Favero Assioma Pro RS road pedals. Now, I've spoken about these before, but it's actually the first time I've been able to see the products in real life. Now, I have shown you guys the Pro MX, the mountain bike version of this, but the technology here is exactly the same. It's all encased in this steel pedal axle body, and the update here is to the sort of like road platform. Now, as a combined pedal system here, these, including the sensors, actually come in lighter than standard Shimano Ultegra pedals, but obviously you've got the added benefit of having the power meter technology inside. And I do love the fact that it's a super lightweight and minimalist setup. Hopefully, we're going to start to see this tech become more commonplace. Really like it. Now then, when I think of the brand Fizik, I think of two things, saddles and shoes. But apparently that is not the way forwards because they also have two new helmets. It's called the Kudo and the Kudo Aero. The Aero version has this full covered shell over the top, and this clear little spoiler on the back, which I think are actually really, really cool. I like the look of that. The shapes underneath and the sort of core of the helmet remain the same. They've got a couple of different adjustability options inside. You've got the twist dial at the back, and then the retainer and liner can be adjusted on the side to suit different shapes. Both of these helmets are fitted with the latest Mips system, the Air node, and I just think it's a really nice looking helmet, because white helmets, let's face it, are always the coolest. Also, you've got the option of fitting lights onto the back of both of them as well. Look at these mega brake calipers here. So these are CNC machined from what appears to be one block of aluminium, and there's loads of different models, shapes and designs here. We've got cable actuated ones. We've got 4 piston ones, which are presumably designed for mountain bike or sort of like e-bike applications, but also your standard looking one, which is presumably going to work on a road bike. I love seeing all the different colours and seeing all the detail in these where they've been machined. They're from a company called 3 Pro, and there's loads of different brake components here from the mountain bike side of things as well as the road. You've got these brake rotors as well with the floating design and the coloured aluminium carrier in the middle. What I would actually quite like to do is perhaps try and get some of these and see what they work like on a normal road bike. So I think they'd be a really good way of tricking out your bike. Oh, that's another day done and dusted at Eurobike. I'm starting to get tired now searching out all this hot tech, but fear not, because the search continues on. So as always, subscribe to GCN Tech and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss out on our future videos. I'm going to have a rest now, and I might treat myself to an ice cream. See ya.